On this episode of the Momentum Marketing Podcast, we are talking about the number one cardinal rule that I see every marketer, digital content creator, and business owner out there breaking that you need to be aware of if you are marketing or promoting something in 2023. Hey there, I'm Jillian Kendrick, and welcome to the Momentum Marketing Podcast. I'm a mama, a wife, an entrepreneur, and a 3-time best-selling co-author. In each episode, you'll get real-world practical advice and strategies, and maybe a parenting tip or two along the way. If you're ready to create a business that supports your family and your lifestyle, then you're in the right place. Hey there, I'm so excited to be with you here today on this next episode of the Momentum Marketing Podcast. Thank you for being here with me, for taking your time. I'm so grateful to have so many awesome listeners. Thank you for your feedback. As always, if you want to provide feedback on this podcast, please email hello@jilliankendrick.com. That's HELLO@JILLIANKENDRICK.com. Before we get started, if you head on over to jilliankendrick.com/webinar, you can check out my latest list building webinar. It's gorgeous and amazing. I'm so excited. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think. It's a really amazing training. I have absolutely put my heart and soul into this, and there's some really, really good nuggets. Whether you are brand new to list building or you've been building a list and doing this whole internet marketing thing for a while, I promise you, you will learn something that you have never thought of before. So head on over to jilliankendrick.com/webinar and check it out. Now, back to the topic at hand. This is the number one rule that I see every marketer, every strategist, every content creator, every business out there completely breaking. And that is, in order to make sales, in order to be in business, in order to facilitate the sacred exchange of money, you need 3 things. They need to believe in you as the business owner, the leader, or the guide. They need to believe that your product or your solution is going to solve their problem, and they need to believe in themselves. So in other words, you need to build trust. In order to create that sacred exchange of money, you need to build trust, and those 3 different versions of trust in themselves, in you, and in your product. But how do you build trust in a digital world? Yes, obviously, building trust has a lot to do with integrity, saying what you'll do and then doing what you say. Absolutely 100% integrity translates not only to the physical world, but also to the digital world as well. That is undeniable. But there are visual aspects of building trust that you can utilize in the digital world to help break through some of those barriers and overcome some of those subliminal kind of objections. The number one visual trust aspect that I see people breaking and not staying consistent with over and over and over again is the branding, and that everything needs to look the same. Imagine it this way. You're scrolling through Facebook, you see an ad for something that you need desperately. You need the solution that they're providing, whether it's a course or some content or a product or something on Amazon or a vacation or an opt-in or a video or whatever it is. You need that thing, you want that thing, you see the image, you read through the ad, and you get really excited about it. So you click on it. Now visualize with me, because I know this is a podcast, it's hard to see, but visualize with me that the ad that you were looking at is green and lush and beautiful with, I don't know, like a mountainscape or something, and you have kind of that visualization in your mind. Now you click on the ad, you go to like their landing page or their website or whatever it is, and all of a sudden everything is purple. Everything is an urban cityscape with market lighting, and you're wondering, hey, this is 2 different things. The visual aspect of the ad versus the landing page are totally different. Sure, the images might be beautiful. Sure, the copy might be written exactly the same. The tonality of the copy could be exactly the same. The messaging can be the same. The offer can be the same. The price can be the same. The URLs can be consistent. All of that stuff is great. But if the visual markers aren't there, you are missing out on a tremendous, visceral human aspect of how to build trust. The way that we build trust trust is through meeting and exceeding expectations. Whether you do it consciously or subconsciously, when you see an ad and you click on that ad, you are expecting to see the same image. You are expecting to see the same branding, the same colors. Think about it this way. When you go to YouTube and you see a video thumbnail and then you click on that video and instantly the video is nothing like the thumbnail that you clicked on, you're going to click off of that video super fast because you have that kind of visceral reaction, gut instinct that says, hey, one of these things is not like the other, right? It's like Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things isn't the same. It doesn't belong. Something's wrong. I need to get out of here. So you click off of that video and go to the next one. Marketing is just human psychology and behavior. If your images aren't consistent throughout, you will break trust. You will lose trust. Even if all of the copy is amazing, even if the product or solution is exactly what they're looking for and it's the best thing for them, if the visuals, if the imagery, if everything isn't consistent, you will lose customers, period. I've made the mistake before of having ads that are out there running, using certain images from a photo shoot that I did, and then wanting to make some updates to a landing page and changing out the photos, not even thinking anything of it. And all of a sudden my opt-ins plummeted and I couldn't figure out, oh man, I tried this, I tried that. Finally, I was able to pinpoint that it was this image. The images that I took from one photo shoot with different clothes on, a different background, different settings, a different photographer were completely different than the other photo shoot that I had done with different background, different clothes, different photographer, different hair. So no wonder, even though it's still me, even though I write really good copy, even though my ad placement was spot on, because the images weren't consistent, trust was broken because I failed as a marketer to meet expectations. So whatever you do, all of your visuals have to be the same. All of your thumbnails, you should really have a templatized, standardized way that you do your thumbnails in YouTube. You should have a standard templatized way that you do images for podcasts or for blog posts or other things. All of those should be consistent to some degree so that you allow yourself to build trust with your audience and be really, really consistent. That is the number one thing that I see people failing at. I have definitely done it as a marketer too, so don't feel bad. You're in good company. But make sure that whatever you do, all of your visuals, all of your imagery, all of your marketing, everything needs to be consistent. So my action item for you today is go look at your marketing. Go look at where you put content out there into the world, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, blogs, posts, LinkedIn. It doesn't matter. Whether you're running ads or doing organic, doesn't matter. Check your imagery. Make sure everything is consistent throughout your funnel. I promise you, if you find discrepancies, you may also find that's where people are dropping off. And next up in my favorite segment called Parenting Tips You Didn't Ask For, I love this one. I want to give you a recipe to the zucchini bread muffins that my son and I make all the time. He refers to them as blue cake. I have no idea why he calls them that. There's really nothing blue about them, but he eats them and it makes mama happy. So what I do is I take a zucchini muffin recipe and I actually add more veggies into it. So then I just call it cake and he's eating carbs and sugar, but he's also eating vegetables. And it's a win-win in our house because my son is a super duper picky eater. I have also had moms that I've shared these muffins with whose kids are super picky eaters as well. And they have completely devoured these muffins and absolutely love them. So I found a zucchini muffin recipe on sallysbakingaddiction.com. It's a great little blog. I use this recipe all the time and I've added my own twists and tweaks to it as well. So the recipe is 1 cup of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of baking powder, a quarter teaspoon of baking soda, a little bit of salt. We don't put salt, but you can if you want. And then I let my son Nathan shake the cinnamon into it and he can just shake and shake and shake. Cinnamon is delicious. Her recipe calls for 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. We don't put nutmeg, but we have done either cinnamon or I think McCormick makes apple pie pre-mixed spice cans or pumpkin pie spice pre-mixed little jars, and we'll use one of those or we'll just use cinnamon. 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/6 of a cup of brown sugar. We usually use light brown sugar, 1 large egg, a teaspoon of vanilla, although I always add extra vanilla to everything because that's just what I do. 2 tablespoons of milk. Actually, sometimes I add a little bit more depending on if I've measured my flour out perfectly or not. A 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. And again, anytime I'm baking a cake, I always do however much oil or fat or butter that they call for. And then I always take my canola oil and just squirt in like an extra tablespoon. And that always makes my cakes turn out really, really nice. That's like my cake secret for you guys. Then 3/4 to 1 cup of shredded zucchini. And then what I do is I go and grab a puree pouch. You know, those pouches of apple and pumpkin and carrot, or kale and spinach and pear, or whatever it is. I just grab one of the pouches, the kids like toddler pouches, and it should be a sweet one, right? I wouldn't recommend getting one that's made with like turkey or whatever, but I always grab just whatever pouch I have on hand and I squeeze the entire pouch into the batter, and it makes it so good and it adds extra veggies. And then he's eating zucchini. We've even thrown some shredded carrot into there as well, and he gobbles them up. I think this morning we made them together and he ate 4 of these little muffins. It's awesome. And also the baking smell with like the cinnamon and the brown sugar and everything makes the house smell so good. So that is my parenting tip that you didn't ask for. If you have a picky eater like mine is and you're trying to get them to eat more veggies, this is absolutely how to do it. So that's it, you guys. Head on over to jilliankendrick.com/webinar to check out my latest list building webinar that I made just for you. Also, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Momentum Marketing Podcast. If listening to this has brought you value, improved your life, or given you any insight to help you build momentum in your business, then please share it with a friend, and I'll see you on the next episode.